Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Amy. Today I'm here to do a review and a book chat on A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I will leave the cover here for you guys in case you haven't seen it before and were living under a rock like me. My copy is currently being lent to a friend, so there you have it. But if you're interested in knowing some spoiler-free thoughts, and then as well at the end of the video I'm going to do some spoilery chat with you guys, then go ahead and keep watching. So for those of you who may not know and were living under a rock like I was, A Court of Thorns and Roses, or ACOTAR as it's commonly referred to, is a fairy tale retelling of Beauty and the Beast. And it is definitely a more loose retelling. It's just kind of like the bare bone structure of the story. So essentially this book is about a girl named Feyre who, while she is in the woods hunting for her family, she comes across a wolf and kills it, and come to find out that wolf was actually a fairy. And so another fairy named Tamlin comes and takes Feyre away to pay penance for killing his friend and forces her to live with him essentially for the rest of her life. And this is their story. It's, you know, it's got fairies and magic and all that kind of stuff with that structure of Beauty and the Beast. And for me, this story was actually super disappointing because most people love this book. Like, favorite book ever. Sarah J. Maas has a huge following. I believe she's the one that does the, oh goodness, Throne of Glass series. I think that's what it is, which I have not read. But for me, this book just missed the mark. So I gave this book 2 out of 5 stars. I found parts of this book good, but for the most part, it was actually really disappointing to me. And it was definitely one of those books that the more I thought about it after I finished it, the more disappointed I became. So the first thing that I really struggled with while reading this book was I didn't connect with Feyre. I didn't particularly like her. And it wasn't in the sense that I thought she made bad decisions or I just thought she was a terrible person, because I can like a character who's not a perfect character and definitely has flaws and you're meant to dislike. Like, everybody loves a good villain to dislike. And for me, Feyre was just flat. She didn't have any emotion. She lacked, I don't want this to like cause controversy, but like a softer side. Like, I'd like to have seen a little bit more emotion from her and feeling. I just felt like she was just like here the whole time, and I didn't find her a very believable character because she was so flat, and the decisions that she made and her thought processes just didn't make sense to me, which is okay. I don't have to agree, but overall I just found Feyre to be a very boring character. I didn't enjoy her. I wasn't particularly worried about what happened to her, even though I should have been, because she's the antagonist and the book is told from her point of view, so you would think I would feel for her, and I just didn't. And on the same side of the coin, I didn't enjoy Tamlin, who is the beast slash fairy character that takes Feyre away. Again, I just found him to be really one-sided. We do find out about his past and how he got to be where he is, but I didn't find it interesting. I didn't find it enough or anything special. It's the same old story we've heard a bajillion times, and that was just really disappointing to me. So overall, like, between the characters and the plot, it wasn't enough. But specifically the characters. I'm the type of person, I really need a good character to connect to, even if it's someone just to hate. And I just didn't. Even the villain in this story I just found to be but she, in my opinion, was better than both Tamlin and Feyre. So I've already somewhat mentioned the plot and how it did let me down a little bit, but for me, this is what kept me reading this book, is that I was interested in the story itself and the lore and the world and everything that happened, but that was the extent of it. I mentioned I didn't care what happened to Feyre, but I did want to see what did end up happening. And so in that sense, for me, the reason I gave this book 2 stars and not 1 star was because I did want to know more about the world. I think for me that was the most interesting part, was this world where the humans and the fae and the fairies are separated and they live different lives, and it's this very controversial tragic past between humans and the Fae, and that I found interesting, and I hope to get more of that in the next 2 books in the series, which I haven't picked up yet, so please, no spoilers, guys. I don't want to be spoiled at all. I hate it when that happens. Anyway, so there you have it. The plot was what notched this from a 1-star to a 2-star, and I would also say another reason that I did give this book 2 stars is, despite not liking Feyre and Tamlin and not really connecting to them, I did really enjoy Rhysand's character and also Lucian to some extent, but for me that was disappointing because they were side characters. I want to be able to connect to side characters as well, obviously. I don't want throwaway characters in a story, but you don't get a lot of them, and so it's kind of disappointing because you're spending more time with the main characters. So there we have it on the characters. And then lastly, I didn't enjoy Sarah J. Maas's writing. I thought it was repetitive and dull. I am not kidding you. At least 4 times in this book, she uses the phrase, "and her bowels turned watery," which is fine. It's a fine phrase. It's not a disgusting phrase to me. Like, it describes this fear and anxiousness and nervousness that just causes you to, like, lose control. But she used it time and time and time again. And I was like, come up with something different. There's so many resources out there for you. Like, come up with a different phrase. Give me some other way to describe her feelings, because this is getting really boring and I'm caring less and less every time. And so for me, her writing wasn't there. And if it weren't for the world that I enjoyed and the lore and everything that goes along with this world that she's created, I would have no intention of continuing on with this series. So I didn't enjoy it, and it doesn't make me want to pick up Throne of Glass, which I know a lot of people love that series, and it makes me not want to pick it up. I'm already not like anxious to pick up Court of Mist and Fury because the writing wasn't very exciting. So I am hopeful that it improves. Let me know if it does. No spoilers though, like I said, but let me know if her writing does improve, because for me, it was just nothing special, borderline bad. So those are my non-spoiler thoughts on ACOTAR. So if you haven't read the book and plan to do so, I will say goodbye for right now, because I'm going to start chatting about things that might give a little bit too much away. It's nothing like really bad, but I wouldn't have wanted to hear my thoughts that I'm about to have before I read it. So we'll see you all later. Now, spoiler talk. Can we talk about the romance between Feyre and Tamlin and how terrible it was? It was disappointing. It was rushed. I didn't think she spent enough time on it. Literally, their romance for me was Feyre hated Tamlin and all fairies. Then she spent like 2 days with him, and then they were in love. And the things they say to each other are so cliche and flowery and like vomit-inducing that it was terrible. It was just terrible. Like how she talks to him once they're in the mountain place. It's like gag-worthy. Like, and I love romance novels. Corny romance novels are my jam, but they have to feel heartfelt, and this just sounded ridiculous. It was terrible, guys. I hated it. I've read a lot of really bad romances out there, and this one's up there. Like, it's definitely up there with the not so great. It was just not a great romance. It was skimmed over, terrible, stupid language, dialogue between them. There was no reason for them to fall in love. Literally none. At least that's my opinion. So that's my first spoil thought. Let me know what you guys think of their romance for sure, because I don't know if I'm just a critic on this side, because I do read so much romance, and when I know what a good romance can be like, and for a book that's a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, like the romance kind of needs to be dealt with in a proper way, at least in my opinion. So like I mentioned, I really enjoyed Rhysand and Lucian's characters, specifically Rhysand, because he was a dick. Nobody liked him, he was a jerk, but then at the end you kind of feel like there is this possibility of learning why he is the way he is. And that's how I feel like Feyre and Tamlin should have been. If she had done with them what she did with Rhysand in my opinion, this book would have been really, really good, because he was a good character. He had flaws and he was imperfect and he was mean, but at other times he was so caring and thoughtful. It was just so interesting. He was such a well-rounded character, and in my opinion, this book would have absolutely no reason to continue if it wasn't for the introduction of his character and the deal that him and Feyre make. Like, literally everything else is wrapped up. They beat the bad chick, can't remember her name right now, that's how memorable she was, and they go and they live happily ever after. She turns into the Fae, and they go back to their castle, and essentially everything's better, right? But the only thing that has to continue on is that she has to spend a week every month at Rhysand's castle. So that I was also super disappointed about. I probably should have mentioned that in the non-spoiler part, that the ending could have been completely wrapped up if it hadn't been for one character. And of course, Lucien, I enjoyed him too. Once again, he wasn't this like great guy that made all these amazing decisions, but he had a past and a history with his family, and there was this tension between him and Feyre, and they hated each other and whatnot. Like, he was another good rounded out character that I want to know more about. I'm so much more invested in those two characters than I am in the main two. Like, I can't even explain to you to what degree. So I thought they were really interesting, and I think they're wonderful characters, and they should have been introduced or involved more in the story, in the plot, than they were, because I think I would have enjoyed the book a lot more. And guys, I gotta be honest. So as much as I love Rhysand, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, if there is a love triangle that happens, I'm gonna freak out. I don't like love triangles. I hate love triangles. I can think of one book where I actually enjoyed the love triangle, and that is The Host by Stephanie Meyer, because essentially that's the main plot of it. But that was very well handled, and that's a different kind of love triangle. It's not like your typical love triangle. But if a love triangle happens between Rhysand and Tamlin and Feyre, I'm gonna lose it. Because as much as I love Rhysand, I think he deserves better than Feyre, despite the fact that he's kind of a shitty guy sometimes. And to be honest, like, she loves Tamlin. Like, I do think those two need to be together. Like, I like their story. It's interesting. They're good together. I like their story. I mean, I like their story together, I guess. I don't enjoy reading their story, at least thus far. But no love triangles, guys. Please. I hope there's no love triangles. Don't tell me if there is. But I just, like, red flag, like, love triangle, here it comes. Not looking forward to that. And then, my last spoil thought. Some people might actually, like, hate me for this. This book reminded me so much of Twilight. So much of Twilight. I didn't hate Twilight. I enjoyed Twilight. I read it when I was in high school. I thought it was a fun read. I don't think her writing's phenomenal. I don't think the plot was anything super special, but I enjoyed it. It was a good, fun vampire love story to read. I liked the way it ended too. All happy and everything. I liked the way it ended. There's, to me, so many similarities between her writing style and her characters and this potential love triangle that I have a very strong feeling is going to happen, but I hope I am wrong. But it just sounds so, it's so similar. And then at the end, that like really quick like change of point of view where you see Feyre turn into the Fae through Rhysand's point of view, like Jacob, hello, like, does anyone else think this? Tell me I'm not the only one, or I'm just totally crazy and seem to think that ACOTAR is so much like Twilight. Well, there you have it, guys. There are all my thoughts on ACOTAR, book chat, review-ish type thing. So if you liked this format and me having some spoiler chat with you guys, please let me know. And let me know what you guys thought of ACOTAR. I would love to know your thoughts, especially because I know a lot of people love it. I want to know why you love it. I want to see if I missed something, or if you think the books get better. Let me know, guys. So if you like this video, please like it. If you loved it, please subscribe. And I'll see you in my next video. Happy reading. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Amy. Here. Thanks, babe. Thanks, Kendra.
Yeah, no problem.
And keep watching. Oh my god.